Hi, this is Elaine Benfield, and welcome to another episode of Herstories. Today is a very special guest. Brad, you're laughing, but it's true. Brad Walsh is joining me. You're going to hear the laughter because Brad and I have a great rapport from the moment we met.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Brad, for joining Herstories today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm excited and happy to be here and to share on your platform a little bit about the work I'm doing. And so thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and for inviting me to be here with you and share with your audience. I'm honored and appreciate it.
Well, and everyone listening is going to go, I know it's Herstories. And as my 19-year-old son says, why are you not interviewing men? It's been his big issue. The minute I met Brad, and I'm going to talk about it, my joke is to try to embarrass him, which I don't know if I can, is why I find you so inspiring. So Brad is a storyteller, a creator, a community builder, which you can see why we are laughing and we have a great rapport together. Your emphasis on the role of elevating women's voices and fostering connection through events and storytelling is just, I mean, it's exactly the way why I created Herstories. So that really resonated with me. You're the creator and the host of Empowerography podcast.
Yes.
I was joking because I was saying a second ago, the global platform celebrates and amplifies women's voices. You've had hundreds of conversations with inspiring women around the world. You've built a community that is rooted in connection, which you can tell by us talking, totally connected to Brad.
Yes.
The authenticity and empowerment, but your work combines creativity, purpose, storytelling to help women recognize their strength and possibilities. And what makes you especially inspiring is the way that you lead with empathy and allyship. And that shows true empowerment involves listening, supporting others, and creating spaces where every voice counts. That's just a little bit of the highlight of Brad on this. So that's why I find you inspiring.
Well, thank you. That means a lot to me, and I received that. It's an amazing journey, and to be able to host a platform that helps to amplify and elevate women's voices through sharing their stories. I mean, I believe we're all here to support and cheerlead each other. We're here to be in and of service to one another. And this is so Empowerography and everything that falls under the Empowerography umbrella is exactly that. That's my contribution and my contribution to the world, because women need more stages. We need to provide the space for women to have their stories heard. They've been silenced for so long. So this is my part. I'm the spoke in the wheel, and this is what I'm trying to do to help better the world, to help raise the vibration of the collective through all of the work and all of the incredible, I mean, all I'm doing is shining a light. The women are doing the heavy lifting because it's their stories that they're sharing. So it is such an honor and a pleasure to be invited into that space and share in each of these women's stories. I mean, that honor is so big. It is not lost on me how big it is. It's so much bigger than all of us. And so for me to be invited into these spaces is such a gift.
Okay, so now I know why I picked him to be on Herstories. That couldn't have said it more. So we were introduced on like this Podapalooza, and we matched, and we had 20 minutes, and Brad and I were like, not enough time. It was one of those funny, we're like, let's scrap it and do. So I was recently on his podcast, but I'd love you to talk about what's the origin? How did this come about for you? And what's a little bit behind the scenes of who Brad is and how you got to where you are right now?
Well, my journey starts with my first love, my first passion, which is photography. I learned how to shoot on black and white film back in high school. I took a class and I fell in love with it that first class. It's my first love, my first passion. The funny thing is, though, I never wanted to photograph people. I liked photographing architecture, landscapes, but learning to shoot on black and white film, there's just something so magical about capturing an image in a camera and then developing it yourself and seeing that image come to life on a piece of paper. There's not enough words to succinctly describe how powerful that is and how beautiful that is. And so I look at that as that's part of the through line of all my work, the beauty that I get to help facilitate and create. So the photography piece of it, like I said, I didn't want to photograph people. I worked in corporate for 12 and a half years as an audiovisual tech at one of the big four accounting firms. And in 3 or 4 years into my career there, I was tasked with the responsibility, we'll say, to put it politely, of doing the corporate headshots. And that's where I fell in love with photographing people, that
Mhm.
connection and that one-on-one time I got with each person as they sat for their portrait. I could connect
Yeah.
with them and learn a bit about who they are and what they do. So I guess that's really where it started for me with people and interviewing. And I
And
never really made
and
that
capturing their
connection
well,
till just now.
and honestly, like, capturing their essence,
Hmm.
because you see headshots and it's like, insert person here, and you're like,
Yeah.
their personality is not coming through,
Hmm.
and I will share on the resource page your Instagram,
Hmm.
the pictures, because we were messaging and you were like, "Oh, you have to," and I looked and was like, "It's breathtaking." And I've always grew up because my dad was born in 1934. I grew up seeing black and white photos from him,
Hmm.
and my grandparents traveled and everything. There was some connection I always had to black and white photos. There's,
Yeah.
like, the rawness, and you can
Hmm.
see the way shadow comes in and light and
Yeah.
darkness. Like,
Yeah.
I love color and vibrant,
Hmm.
but I was drawn as a little kid to the black. I remember looking through, like, old slides and all. I loved it.
Yeah. There's something just you can't replicate that feeling you get when you look at a black and white image. There's just something so special and magical about it. So, doing the corporate headshots, a few years later, I was connected with and introduced to through a mutual friend to a
Mhm.
woman who was a boudoir photographer based in Florida. And I fell in love with her work and the mission and the message behind that genre of photography with what you can help women accomplish in terms of body acceptance, self love, self
Mhm.
confidence. And I ended up mentoring with her for 6 months. And when I was done my mentorship, it was just one of those light bulb moments. I just knew that
Mhm.
that's what I've got to do with my photography business when I do finally make the leap full time. And so during the time, I mean, there was still a 6 year window between me leaving corporate, me learning about boudoir and me leaving corporate. So
And explain,
during,
if anyone, I know the word, but explain for my audience if someone doesn't know what that word means and what does that reflect with the photographs?
oh yeah, boudoir is a genre of photography. Well, it's synonymous with, I don't look at it this way, but this is the
Mhm.
definition, I guess, with women empowering women to step into their beauty. I do
Mhm.
look at it that way, but the lingerie is synonymous with boudoir.
Yeah,
My way of doing things is you don't have to wear lingerie. That's not a
yeah.
necessity. It's just providing, I look at it, it's for me, I'm showing a woman who she truly is. I'm capturing
Mhm.
her in her essence. I am capturing her in her confidence and showing a woman who she truly is inside and out, sometimes for the very first time. And to be
Yeah.
able to give that gift to a woman is one of the most beautiful,
And they don't
powerful
see
things.
themselves. I
No.
mean, you and I joked about, or we were talking about how when I tell people why they're inspiring, so often the women are like, "That's not me." And it's
Hmm.
almost like I'm doing it from words where you're doing it from visual.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you show, and then you look at the pictures and go, "Oh my god, that was really me." Because women, like, for me, I look at you catch yourself in the walking by a mirror and you're
Hmm.
like, "Crap," but then there's
Yeah.
moments it's like, but you're capturing that this is how the world really does see you,
Mhm.
which, is such a pure, not everyone has that, and not
Yeah.
everyone has that experience to be like, "I'm not that bad. I have
No.
beauty," or whatever you look like.
Yeah.
There's beauty in everything.
Absolutely. I'm showing them what they look like through my lens, how I see them, how
Yeah.
the world sees them. And really, when you think, I was just speaking with someone about a friend of mine about this yesterday. Could you imagine how powerful and beautiful this world would be if everyone, and we're speaking about women in particular, if every woman on the planet could see herself how others see her? Like,
Mhm.
how magical would that be? So for me, that's part of my mission, is to show them who
Mhm.
they are, to capture them and to show them their true beauty. And it is such a beautiful gift to be able to do that. It lights me up. Like, I get to witness transformation unfold right before my very eyes within a 90-minute session. From when that woman arrives in the studio to when she leaves, she's a completely different woman. And
Yeah. Do
that
you know
is
most of your
beautiful.
clients? Like, how do you find your clients, and do they know you're ready, or because you probably have to talk to them beforehand.
Oh, yeah.
What's your process? Because, women are so finicky and
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can understand. I mean, for me, having my clients feel comfortable is
safe.
the most important, and safe. That is of the
And
utmost importance to me. So they usually, sometimes it's friends connecting me, other times it's just through my website. But what I do is I have a pre-shoot consult with every client. So I have a list of questions that I have created, and we go through those questions, get to know a little bit about why she wants to do the shoot, what her preferences are, what she likes. I have a Pinterest board that I've created
Mhm.
that is full of outfit ideas. And I always tell the women that you do not have to wear lingerie. You can wear
Mhm.
whatever makes you feel beautiful, whatever makes you feel sexy,
Yeah.
whatever makes you feel powerful. It does not have to be lingerie. For all I care, you can wear cut off jean shorts and a tank top. I don't care what you wear
Yeah.
because it's about the experience. So a lot of the women, I find it interesting. A lot of the women, one of the questions I ask is, why are you doing this? Why do you want to do
Mhm.
a shoot? And a lot of them, a lot of the time, the response is, I'm doing this for my husband, for my partner, for
Mhm.
my wife, whatever it is. And I say, okay, I understand. I get it. Then that's great. But let's shift the perspective here. Let's look at this through a bit of a different lens. You should be doing this first and foremost for you. First and foremost. Excuse me. The images, yes, you can gift them to your partner. Of course you can. But when all's said and done, the images are just a byproduct. It's about the experience. That's where the real transformation happens. That's where the real beauty is in the experience of being photographed and seeing yourself, like I said, sometimes for the very first time, who you
Yeah.
truly are, or in a light that you have never seen yourself in.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's about capturing that.
Well, and I years ago, I'll tell you, I don't know if I've ever said this to anyone. I looked to doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and I really, as you said, I wanted to do it for my ex-husband,
Mm-hmm.
and I just didn't feel it. And you know what's interesting now that I'm in this and you've been part of this like journey of my metamorphosis, I would do it today.
There you go.
Being single, being like kind of the best version of myself, I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't that then. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
I'm lighter and whatever, but to me, I didn't have that confidence of like
Mm-hmm.
wanting to show that vulnerability, and I for some reason, I don't know why, but I never wanted to do it. Now I'm like, here I am 53 going, "Maybe I would.
I
Maybe when I
like that.
come up to see you in Canada," like but it is
Yeah.
that interesting because now I'm like, "Oh," but that's sometimes women are so insecure and they
Mm-hmm.
don't know why, and it's like, that's what I love about it because it is such an art form. I mean, this has been around for hundreds
For
of
yeah,
years
yeah.
before people were painted, before they had
Mm-hmm.
photography,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that is the beauty of and that's what I always loved my parents, much to their dismay of how much I hated it going to museums as a child across the world, but I
Mm-hmm.
remember staring at those photos of how someone captured, a woman and whatever it looked like,
Yeah.
that to me, it was mesmerizing going, someone saw their beauty, no matter what and a lot of the women years ago were so corpulent and but that's not really beauty, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
That artist found beauty in whatever, so you
It
do.
is. It truly is. And I love that you mentioned you didn't feel confident because this here, all the excuse, I have to lose 5 pounds. I have to lose
Yeah.
10 pounds. And I always say, listen, I understand where you're coming from. I get it. But how about we capture who you are right now?
Mhm.
And if you want another shoot after you lose the 10 pounds, great. But let's
Yeah.
capture who you are right now. You are beautiful the way you are. You don't need to lose 10 pounds in order
Yeah.
to do a photo shoot.
It's
Let's
so
capture you in this time, in this season of who you are
yeah.
right here, right now.
I love
And then
it,
you
and
have those images to look back on 2
yeah,
years from now, 5 years from
and I
now.
wish I'm sure women listening, God, I wish I would have done it when I thought I was fat at 18, and it's like because 'cause I'm friends with some of my friends from high school, and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Wow, our image of what we thought," now I'm like, "I'd kill to look like that," but you don't know that, and that's part of
Yeah.
aging where you're like, "Oh, I didn't realize that whatever." It just is
Mhm.
interesting. So talk to me about how you got then what's the next evolution of your creative
Yeah.
platform?
So I was 2 years into my photography business, and I started to feel like I wanted to reach more people. I wanted to have a bigger impact. And yes, photography has an impact, but it's not as big as what I wanted or what I was dreaming of
Mhm.
and what I envisioned for the work that I was doing. So I thought, why don't I take the values, the purpose, and the mission of the work I'm doing through the photography and turn that into or transplant that into a podcast where I focus the podcast solely on women, highlighting them, amplifying their voices, elevating them through sharing their stories. And so I reached out to 7 or 8 friends of mine, women who I had met in my photography journey,
Mhm.
and I explained to them the idea I had for this podcast. I thought, why not? Let's do this. Let's turn this into a podcast. At the time and even now, I don't know of any other platform out there in the world that is hosted by a man that solely focuses on highlighting and amplifying the voices of women. So
I
I
don't know
thought,
any.
this is perfect. I can carve out
Mhm.
my own little niche in the podcasting world. I can stand out. So I reached out to my friends. I asked them if they would help me get it off the ground by letting me interview them. They all agreed. I did the interviews. I created the content. And at that same time, my business had started to pick up more traction. I was getting more inquiries and more bookings. And I thought, okay, well, I left corporate for a reason. I have to shift my energy, my
Were you
time, my
ever
focus.
scared? Because you and I
Oh,
both
yeah, of course. Yes, I was
look at
scared
that.
shitless.
Can I right? Scared shitless. I'm like, "Am I doing this right? Is this the right
Mhm.
direction?" It's like, as you and I were talking briefly before, like, if you build it, they will come. Like, there is the have enough confidence in yourself to make risk is so hard, but
Mhm.
when you're risking something you really know can work because it's your passion,
Mhm.
that's what you did. You literally
Yep.
were like, "You know what? I've got it." Like, to me, I'm betting on myself for the
It
first
was
time in my life.
scary as hell, even with the jumping into
Mhm.
photography. I had so many people in my ears saying, "There's so many photographers out there. How are you ever going to compete?" And all of these things, and I was doubting myself. It was a tough journey for sure.
But you had an inner circle of people that helped you go, "You know what?" Like you and I talked about, I had one person who was my mirror image, and then
Mhm.
my community of my inner circle were like, "Go for it."
Mhm.
And did you have that same community of people that you could bounce ideas and be like, "What do you think? Can I do this?" And like and help you with that self-doubt?
Oh yeah, of course. I
Yeah,
had a mentor with the photography piece of it. Yeah, it's so important. You have to surround
same.
yourself with the right people, the heart-minded, the like-minded people. And so when I hit that point where I was 2 years in, and I had to shelve the podcast because the photography business was just it was picking up. So I thought, okay, well, let's shelve it. So I now call that my dress rehearsal era of
Mhm.
empowerography. And so I focused on the business. And then, of course, we fast forward to March of 2020, rendered my photography business inoperable. So
Mhm.
I thought, well, okay, I've got two choices here. I can either go through door number one and sit around and commiserate and bitch and complain about what's going on in the world, like over half the world was doing, or I
Yeah.
could go over here and go through door number two and choose to shift my perspective, look at this situation through a different lens that this is a gift we've all been given. So
Yeah.
why not use this gift of time to do something good? And so I thought, I'm going to reignite the podcast. I might as well. There's nothing else I can do right now.
Mhm.
So I began reaching out to women on social media and explaining the idea behind the platform, where I wanted to go with it, where I wanted to take it. And of course, the vision had evolved a little bit since my dress rehearsal. And so the response that I was receiving was incredible. Women were so happy to hear that a man had created a platform such as this to help elevate women and amplify their voices, that it turned into
Yeah.
this thing where the women I was interviewing were saying, Brad, I've got a friend I know. I'll connect you to
And it
her. Brad, I've
yeah.
got a guest. She'd be great for your show. And
Well,
to where we now have this beautiful community. And it has been such an incredible journey. I have met some of the most beautiful, inspiring, courageous souls that I've ever met in my entire life. This has
yeah.
been 5.5 of the best years of my life because of this platform, because of what we have built. Because I
Yeah.
didn't build this by myself. I couldn't do it by
Community.
myself. Yes.
Yeah.
It's everything to me.
Yeah.
Community, collaboration, connection. It is absolutely everything. We cannot do anything in this life alone. And so building this up to where it is now, it has so beautiful. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, this is my purpose. This is why I was put here on this
Mhm.
planet, is to do this work to elevate and amplify the voices of women. I mean, we have a women's empowerment conference. We did our fifth one this year.
Mhm.
That's been virtual up until this point. Next year, we are doing the first one in person here in Toronto. I want a women's empowerment conference that travels around the world. I want 1 million women involved in this platform. I want chapters of Empowerography set up all over the world, women running those chapters and guiding and mentoring and supporting other women through entrepreneurship, through life. I want a board of directors. I want to be able to take money from the business and contribute to women's causes. This
Yeah.
is this is
There's so
more than
many
just a
fun
podcast.
well, and it's so it was when I first talked to you, I was like, "You're the first person who understood my mission, but being in a man's position."
Hmm.
Like, but I haven't talked to women that wanna do what I wanna do. Like, I
Right.
there's always there's pieces, but not to the
Hmm.
point where everything you said, insert her stories. Like, it's you and I have the same mindset of,
Yeah.
been too long that women haven't had their voices. You and I
Hmm.
talked about, like, why I did, her stories because
Hmm.
I was part of history,
Yeah.
and it was to me, I think and you and I talked about, like, I had people ask, like, "Why aren't you doing famous women?" I'm like, "Because they're not everyday women that have
No.
gone through the resilience and the empowerment of how do we help lift each other in the community? No offense to famous women, blah, blah, blah."
Hmm.
Like, I just how do you feel from being like, you are such an incredible, like, man human,
Thank you.
but just do you ever go, "Wow, I wish more men were like, sorry, more like you to some degree going, because you just
Yeah.
so safe and so like it's part of storytelling, but it's that natural community and it's who you and I just clicked on a different level. But like
Hmm.
for me, I look at it from a man, why was it important for you to step into this space? Because it is so unique. Men don't do this. Sorry.
No,
No offense.
because this is all, so this is what I was going to say, is that the foundation for all of this is my mother and my grandmother.
Mhm.
They are what inspired this. I mean, I was raised by my mom and my grandmother. My mom left my biological father when I was 10. He was running around on her having an affair, and of course back in those days women stayed home to raise the children while the
Mhm.
husband was the one working. So when I looked back on that as an adult male, the fact that she had the strength and the courage, and of course the support of my grandmother, her mother, and the resilience to stand up after 15 years of marriage and say, nope, I'm done. I don't have to take this
Aw,
shit anymore. I'm leaving. I'm taking my
aw,
boys and we're leaving. And that's what we did. We left with nothing but the clothes on our back. We moved into a 1-bedroom apartment. My mom slept on a couch. My brother and I shared a bedroom. And she had to go back out into the working world and get a job after sacrificing work and staying home to raise us for 10 years.
yeah.
And when she was at work, my grandmother would step in. So for me, those two women are my heart and my soul. I wouldn't be the man I am today without those two. They are the foundation for all of the work I do, the photography, the podcast, the conference. That's it. That's where the inspiration comes from. This is a nod of the hat to them. This is in honor of the sacrifices that they
Yes, they
made for
will.
me and the love and how they taught me, how they raised me. I wasn't raised like a lot of boys were, where you're told, buck up, pull up your big boy pants and all
Yeah,
that shit. I was raised that it's okay to talk about your feelings. It's okay to share when you're
yeah.
upset. It's okay to be emotional. Most boys aren't raised that way.
I've done the same. I've d
That's how I was raised. I don't know any different.
And I feel like my son is so empathetic, like, to almost to the fault both of us, like, feel other people's pain to some
Hmm.
level, but he cares so deeply, always. And it was funny, he started in college, and he was like, you met a few of the girls on campus, and he said, "Listen, if you need someone safe to walk you home, like, I'm always gonna be that friend that just wants to make sure you're okay." And I
Hmm.
know, because we had a discussion I think I talked to you about, like, my son loves walking at night. And I
Hmm.
said, "I've never done that." And he goes, "I don't understand." And I said, "I'm 53 years of age, and not once in my life, unless I'm with a huge group, cannot walk at night." His eyes were like, "I just can't believe that." So
Hmm.
he went to college and said, maybe I should be that safe person
Hmm.
that people just, if they need me, I'm always a phone call, text away. I don't know,
Yep.
I haven't talked to him more about it, but I was like, but that's part of having strong women in your life.
Hmm.
It's so important, just as a male role model is as well. But to me, having that heart and soul, being like, it is not easy picking yourself back up, starting over, doing all that. And I
Hmm.
give, your grandmother and your mom credit, because look what they
Yeah.
created. They literally, like, seriously, but now it's a domino of this community.
Hmm.
And when did you go, "My god, I'm really onto something"? Like, what number of podcasts were you like, "Wow, this is really," and then your events, your virtual
Hmm.
events, like, when were you like, "I'm on to," like, was there a aha moment where you're like, "You know what? Giving up corporate," or do you still question yourself going, because you and I both have, like, wish lists. We're like,
Yeah.
"Okay, we wanna get to here. We're only scratching the surface." But do you just was there a moment where you're like, "Oh my god, really, yep, this is it. This is what I was always destined to be," and, like, my aha moment.
I would say probably about 2 years in is when I
Mhm,
started to realize that, wait a minute, this really is something. This is my purpose. This is my
mhm,
mission. This is why I was put here. It wasn't always that way. I just
mhm.
started out wanting to just share stories. And like I said, my mom and my grandmother are the inspiration behind it. So it was always there. But yeah, I would say about 2 years in. And no, I've never ever had the feeling of, man, I want to go back to corporate.
Yeah,
No.
isn't it weird?
The
I know.
thing that I have had the calling or the feeling to want to go back to is my photography work. I really miss it because I've been so focused on
Yep.
building the platform and the community. But I would say the last 8 months to a year, I've had this really strong
Mhm.
urge and want to go back to photography. I miss it.
Well, yeah, and it's because it's your first love.
Hmm.
It's where you started. That, to me, I'm sure, as you and I are now, say, like, partners to figure
Yeah.
out how can we help, like,
Hmm.
elevate both of our businesses, and
Hmm.
what our passion. But also it's you will find a way to incorporate it,
Yeah. I
because now,
have
of
actually. I have come. I've the last
course,
I would the last month or so I've been working on putting together something behind the scenes to bring everything I do under one umbrella or one
yeah.
roof or one. one thing, and it feels so good because I finally figured out what it is after 5.5 years of
I love
trying
that.
all of these different things. I finally landed on the thing that I need to birth into the world and put out there. So
Oh, I
I'm really
can't wait.
excited.
Well, we'll do a follow-up so we can talk about that specifically. Is there anything that you and I have talked also in the past about, like, is there a commonality you've seen? You've interviewed hundreds of women. Is there any common thread? A
Oh
red
yeah.
What do you like, give a few of, like, what are 3 top things that you've kinda learned from all the, like, the over encompassing of, like, all the interviews?
Inner strength
Mm.
is something that I've seen huge every interview. I mean, I pull inspiration from every single interview I do. Resilience is something that's huge. A lot 99.9% of the women I speak to have been through some pretty crazy things and they've
Mhm.
managed to come out the other side. And spirituality is another very common thing. They want to help others. That is
Mhm.
those are the main common threads. I would say there's probably about 6 or 7 of them,
Yeah.
but those are the big ones, is the want for something bigger, the
Mhm.
want to have an impact in the world, and the want to help others. But the resilience is, yeah, that's probably the biggest one, is the resilience.
I would probably match resilience, and I would 100% match giving back.
Hmm.
There hasn't been a someone who hasn't been through the pits of the bowel and came back out and said, "How can I help others?"
Yeah.
Whether it be help women get divorced, help women that
Hmm.
are going through cancer treatments, help women that are single moms. Like, that is 100%, and that's part of why I created, like, the resource page on my website going,
Yeah.
"Hey, go to these people if you're struggling with this and if you wanna give it back," and it's I always say within 5 years, I really want, like, a nonprofit that
Hmm.
helps to pull in, because I do this is my passion project. I'm not getting
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Oh, at some point, it'd be great to get sponsors," but I look at it like, "Well, I wanna get sponsors to help others."
Hmm.
I don't care, like, to me, net, I want to, which is the same as you, is like, how can we give back?
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Help
love that
others.
you have that resources page. I think that's a brilliant idea because it just gives people more opportunity to connect with whatever it is they need
Yeah,
help with or support with. So I applaud that
yeah.
idea and I think it's brilliant.
Well, and it's wild to see because I track metrics and I'm like,
Hmm.
"Ooh, people are really going to the site."
Good.
My
Good.
articles are pulling them in, which I was shocked at the blog side. People are like, "They
Hmm.
care what I say," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll keep going down that medium." But I like
Yes.
that I'm, like, referred to some of these because then you can learn more about the guests, and that has really been it's not just a podcast, it's a website. Like, you and I, we're creating platforms, really,
Yeah.
truly. So talk
That's what it's
about
about.
so you have such an incredible global community.
Hmm.
What do you think makes people because you and I connect,
Hmm.
what do you think makes your community maybe different or just, you're created like such an empowering community?
I think it's because I choose to and I choose to surround myself and attract in heart and like-minded people. People that
Mhm.
think the same way I do. That's what it is. I have I have bigger community, the global community, but I also have my tight-knit group that I keep close around me, that we support each other and we help each other. I mean, Empowerography would not even be here without all of these women. It wouldn't exist. Yes, I had the idea. I birthed the platform. I birthed the
Yeah.
idea, but it wouldn't be where it is without all the women.
Yeah.
It wouldn't exist. There would be no Empowerography. So I think that's the piece, is the heart and like-minded people that I magnetize or attract and bring into the community, invite into the space. That's everything, because for me and for all of us in the community, collaboration, and connection are our currency. They are the three
Yeah.
most important. They are the pillars of Empowerography.
Yeah. And your events, what I love is you're helping to spread the story and
Hmm.
having, because you and I both feel like storytelling is everything, community is
Yeah.
everything, but it's helping people realize you're not alone,
Hmm.
that there are people have not everyone has the same experience, but there's commonalities.
Yes, for sure.
And so with your this coming spring, you're
Mhm.
doing an in-person.
Yes.
Tell us about that because that's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. So this
5
year,
year virtual, just to recap.
yeah,
You did
yeah,
5
this
years
was, yeah,
virtual, and now this will be your first in-person.
yeah. So this year was the fifth year. We typically have done it up until this year over one day. We do it on International Women's Day every year.
Mhm.
And it's an all day event. It goes from 9 till 6 in the evening. This year we did it over 2 days. We had 58 speakers. We changed the theme of the conference every year.
How
So
many attendees, how many people did you have virtually attend?
couple hundred, I think it was. But the speakers, what was so special about this year was we had, first of all, we had a men's panel involved this year, which we
Mhm,
thought was very important to do because it was starting to almost feel like an echo chamber. I mean, women talking about women's issues, and
mhm.
okay, that's great, but let's bring some men into the
Yeah.
conversation. So we had a men's panel, which was incredible because it was received so well. Women were so happy. The feedback we got was, you the men's panel changed the entire flow and energy of the conference.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for doing this. It gave us insight as to what men deal with and what men go through and how men think. And so that was incredible. But we also, the best part of it was we had women coming to us who were speakers and attendees saying, we finally found our soul tribe. Thank you for
Mhm.
this. We felt seen, we felt heard. This conference changed my life. It's the speakers, the things they shared changed my life. Those are things you can only dream and hope to get when you put on an event, and to have received that feedback. So,
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, and finding your I think you said it, sometimes it's hard, like, I'm a natural connector like you,
mhm,
but I forget, not everyone just automatically gels with people,
yes.
and I think that's so many people one of the questions I get all the time is like, "How do you do that?" And I
Mm,
said, "It's, like, I'm so lucky, it's innate, my father had
yeah,
it." And I'm like, that's just kinda who I'm always interested in people. It's part of my you are authentic as well, that we
it's a
just
gift.
randomly it is a gift, and I
Mhm,
think you and I are finding ways to embrace it. But for people that can't, to find their people and their tribes,
yeah.
that's
It
so incredible because
that
that's
filled
hard
my heart.
well, it's hard to do in this world.
For sure,
Especially when
and
I joke when I'm an extrovert, but, like, I joke I have so many friends that are introverts, and they're like, "If it wasn't for you," and it's like but you forget that you're creating that for them.
I'm an introverted extrovert, actually.
So that's interesting. How do you view yourself as that?
I was painfully shy as a kid, like
Really?
painfully shy. I was like the wallflower. I didn't in school. I would sit at the back of the class. Don't pick me. Don't pick me. Head down. It's shifted. I've
Mhm,
stepped more into the extrovert because I mean, I have a platform and I'm connecting and meeting people, but I'm
mhm.
still shy. I would say I still call myself shy and introverted somewhat. Not always easy to put myself out there. I still
Yeah.
struggle with, yeah, I still
So I would have seen you in the classroom and made you join me for lunch. That was me as a child. Like, I just was like, "Wait, is there someone over there's a wallflower?" And I'd bring them along. Like, I was that person. Which but as I get older, being extrovert, I'm more exhausted. Like, I've had
yeah.
you and I talked about a long day already,
Mhm.
and I know tonight, nope, I don't wanna do it. Like, tonight's my whew, I need to like, my daughter always says, "You need your spoons, you need more spoons." And so to I'm gonna be at night with 1 spoon versus 5. We have the language of, like, because she's introverted, and
Mhm,
it's just, but it's hard because, your natural tendency of like, "Oh, I kinda wanna be in the back room."
mhm.
You can't.
No.
Like, that's good because you're finding a way to kinda balance it with your personality.
Yeah, yeah, it's pushed me out of my comfort zone for sure. So we decided that, back to the conference, we decided, we'd been thinking about it probably since about year 3. We have to take this in person at some point.
Mm.
But with the way that this year went, it's like, okay, we have to step it up. It's time to move to the next level. So we decided that we're going to take it in person. And we had
Love it.
hosted a retreat back in April in Costa Rica, and we had
I'm so
12
going to one of
people.
these. I'm so doing one of these. Every time I
It
talk to you,
was
I'm like,
amazing.
I thought and Costa Rica is amazing in itself.
It was an amazing event, though, for people to connect, and we
And you said
gave,
12 people?
yeah, including myself and my co-host Cecilia, but we gave the women an opportunity to host workshops at the event so they could share their brilliance, their gifts with the people that attended. And it was a really beautiful space for connection. That's what it was about. It was connection. And I mean, we
Yeah.
made it a beautiful experience. And so we just thought, you know what, we have to move this conference to the next level. So
Mm.
we decided next year we're doing it in person. We've already got the venue secured. It's good to go.
And it's
Um,
Toronto, right?
yeah, yeah, in Toronto,
Toronto.
yeah, from
If
April
anyone
to,
hasn't realized he lives in Canada, there's a
yes.
couple words that when I first met him, I said, "You're from Canada, aren't you?" It's like you can't not. Okay, so in Toronto. So I'll put on the webs on the resource page link to the
Beautiful.
so if everyone wants, and I'm sure Brad and I can negotiate that we get a discount if you heard in her stories, and we'll get
Yes.
more
Yeah.
people, and we'll
Yeah.
find ways to partner together
Yeah,
more.
for sure.
But I think
Absolutely.
it's so talk to me about now how you want the structure. Tell me what the overlook is for the event. Like, is
Well,
it a because you start off with one day and then it
yeah,
became so what tell me a little bit more.
it's going to be over a weekend, April 24th to the 26th, 2026. So 3 days, Friday to Sunday. Friday will be more of a half day. That's more of like
Mhm.
registration and people arriving and connecting. We're going
Okay.
to host a little open mic night for people to showcase talents that are aside
That's
from
cool.
the work that they do. I'm also going to be doing for VIP ticket holders, because we have two levels of tickets, general admission and VIP. So for the VIP ticket holders, they can get their headshots done with me,
Mhm.
the open mic night registration. And what else are we doing Friday? I can't remember. There's something else we're having a vendor marketplace as well. So if you have a VIP ticket, you get a vendor table so you can showcase your business. And so we're
Love
opening the
that.
vendor marketplace on the Friday. Saturday is conference day. So that's an all day event. We have 5 panels of discussion, anywhere from 5 to 7 panel members.
Mhm.
We have a keynote, a kickoff speaker. We will be having, again, another thing for VIP ticket holders, a VIP lunch and fireside chat with my co-host and I. We are also going to be giving VIP ticket holders the opportunity to get on stage and give their 90-second elevator pitch about who they are, their business. What else are we doing
That's so
Saturday?
amazing. And you must have a lot of networking and kind of that.
That's yes, so
Yeah.
Saturday is, well, Friday there will be networking. Saturday there will be networking as well after the conference is done. And we're also going to be doing like a little mini red carpet event, and then dinner for everyone, dancing, drinks, all of that stuff,
Love
entertainment for
it.
the rest of the
You
evening.
had me at dancing.
And then and then Sunday, the final day, again, we will be having, we kick it off Sunday. I'm trying to remember now.
Oh, sorry, I'm cutting you. We
No,
can
that's okay.
put it on
Yeah.
the we'll put it on the website of, like it sounds like such a great event because I feel, first of all, you leading it, but also that creating communities, and I can't wait to see the topics you're picking for discussion.
Hmm.
Because there hasn't been a talk that I haven't had with you where we're like, "Oh god, we both have to go because of time." Because there's so many facets and there's so many
Hmm.
things that how do we help each other and what are lessons learned and best practices and,
Well, the overall theme for the conference this year is sacred synergy, mind, body, and spirit connection.
I love
That's
that.
the topics of discussion fall under the overarching umbrella every year. So there'll be and underneath that umbrella of
Love it.
discussion. So
And as I've told you, as I've gotten older, I'm definitely more spiritual. You
mhm.
know, growing up with 2 religions, whatever, like, but now I'm like, "Oh, I definitely it is interesting." The older I get, the more I'm like, I believe there's something, like,
Yeah.
whatever that is, and, like, I feel like that's part of kind of the community. I'm finding more people that I talk to more about it.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, my community is hugely spiritual. Or I would say 95% of them are spiritual.
well, and it's funny because I was telling you that I went to Sedona and came back and was
Yes.
like, is that the mecca for, like, just I've never felt so connected. What do they have? What is it called? The matrix or whatever they have little,
I've
vortexes?
Yes, vortexes. I've
And
heard
I was
it
like,
is the mecca for
"It's the me"
spirituality.
and I came home with, like I can't believe I'm saying it because I remember as a kid, I was like, "They're a little weird." Crystals. I came home with crystals.
Hmm.
And I like but I of course, me, I color coordinated them with my rooms, and my girlfriend said, "Well, you're spiritual, but yet you're still OCD is like, you can't let go of that." But I love that that's such a great and important topic, and I think everyone has
Hmm.
to find that whether it's religion or whether it's
Yep.
the being, but I think that that's in the end, we're all here, and I do believe, like I told you, losing my mother-in-law, I
Yeah.
now have more I'm convinced my life has gotten even better, unfortunately, after she died, and I'm
Hmm.
convinced it's her. I
Yeah.
always tell people, I'm like, "There's some connection that she's making sure I'm alright without her."
Our
And
spirit
it
team.
is. It is. It's just such a it's incredible. So, where do you see yourself and you mentioned in the beginning, if
Mhm.
you and I talk, which we will in 5 years, where do you see all this kinda going? I'd love to like, what's your, manifestation?
It's a conference. It's a movement that travels around the world and provides stages for women all around the world to get on stage and share their stories. Like I said, chapters of Empowerography and women running those chapters and guiding and mentoring other women through entrepreneurship, through life, world stages. I want a million women involved for starters,
Mm.
and so that's the overall vision. That's where I see it going, and it will happen. I have no
I
doubt in my mind.
And, that was my first impression with you. I was like, "You're gonna do it." Like, I
Mhm.
didn't even it's just like, "Oh, okay, when's it gonna happen?" Like, but I felt but that's also, for the listeners, we're trying to find ways to partner. We
Mhm.
have very similar, kind of goals and
Missions, yep,
like
for
the
sure.
missions that I
Mhm.
was like, "Great, I have a partner that I can be like, hey, what about the" and, like, helping each other to
Mhm.
amplify each other
Mhm.
because you and I talked, I was like, "We're not competing, we're
No,
help each other."
there's
And
no
it's
such thing as competition.
there's no
Competition
such
mindset comes from lack. There's
I
more than enough to go around.
there's more than enough to go around, and there's more than enough stories.
It's
There's
abs
more than enough women that
Mhm.
so what do you want your legacy to be?
That I made a difference in the world, that I had an impact, that I helped people, that I supported people, that I cheerleaded people, that I was in and of service. That's what I want. I want people to realize that that's what I was here to do, and I did that. I accomplished that by giving women stages, giving men stages.
Mhm.
I mean, I see at some point me working with men as well, somewhere down the road too. So just I think just knowing that I made a difference in the world and had an impact and reached people.
And I'm gonna say this, you already are.
Thank you.
You know that.
Thank
I
you.
mean, I just feel like that's because it's just, I don't know why this was so hard for people wanting to tell women's stories. I don't know why it's taken us so long. It's just, and I remember, like, I always remember, like, the story. My mom came from Germany.
Mhm.
But then I remember growing up being like, wait a minute, you couldn't get a credit card for like my entire first however many years. And like
Mhm.
all these, like, think of when women were allowed to vote and women were allowed to
Yeah.
do this. And like, now
Mhm.
we're, all these things, it's mind blowing to me that it's
Yeah,
like,
it
oh,
is. Well,
we're
we're
so
here to
dark.
lead. We're here to
We're here to lead the charge, really, truly. And one thing, as you're leading, I wanted to ask, like, if
Mhm.
you had one message to anyone listening,
Mhm.
but especially men who to make them better allies, what would it be? How would you, if you're meeting someone saying, hey, this is what I do, how do we
Mhm.
get more men to do not what you do, but to help support what you do? Maybe is the way to phrase it.
Learn to listen better. I think that's what it starts with, is learning to listen better and be curious, ask questions. Curiosity can change things so much. So
Mhm.
listen when you're being told stuff, and go into conversations with an open mind, an open heart, and open ears. We have two ears and one mouth for a reason. Use these more than you use this.
You're so awesome. That is such a great.
Thank you.
It's so true, though. That's part of a community is just being there. And I actually, it was one of my hardest lessons is how much I can talk, but I've learned that I'm listening more.
Mhm.
And that's part of my kind of evolution of who I am
Mhm.
because I want to hear about others. I want to hear.
Yeah.
I want to be asked, but I'm also like, oh, I love to know. And that's part of that authentic connection of I really just listen more, want to hear.
Heart-led listening, that's what I call it.
It's so true. It's so true. There's so many other things. We're just gonna have to do part 2, if not more than part 2, but, I find it incredible what you do.
Thank you.
Women can link I'll put on the resource page your event. I'll put on how if, they'd like to be, one of your guests.
Yeah,
And
I'm always looking for guests.
how are you doing what's your cadence with the podcast and how far out are you with because I know you and I talked and we're, like, squeezing each other in our calendars.
Yeah, right now, I believe I'm booking in March now for 2026.
Mm.
Yeah.
You're so better than me. I'm like, I'm still at the 30 videos to publish, and I'm like, "For the love of God," my friends are you're
Believe me, I've been there, Elaine. I did that to myself for 2 3 years, 2 years in a row, and I just had enough. I thought, I have to shift. I have to change the way I'm doing things because I can't keep up with this. This is too much. It's too
no.
draining. So I changed the way I do things, and now I
We
think I
gotta talk
have.
offline about you gotta get me better because everyone's like, "Oh," so many people volunteered, and even my son was like, "Oh, I'll help you do it," and I said, "But it's mine, like, I wanna listen
Yeah.
and with the video
Mhm.
and do the short clips," and he was like,
I'll help you, no problem. I'll give you some tips.
'cause then
So
I'm
what
like
I did.
yeah, because it is one of those that I really wanna be I've interviewed people in the spring, and they're like, "Where's my stuff?" And I'm like,
I was
but I
there. I
also
was
I'm
there.
very logical in like, okay, the ones that have charities that are nonprofit, well, then they're coming during our, US Thanksgiving and whatever.
Mhm.
But it's definitely one of those. There's so many more questions I have for you, but I'm gonna leave you with one, my final
Mhm.
question, which is a two-parter.
Okay.
What empowers you and what inspires you?
What empowers me? The women I surround myself with, the conversations I have, the support team I have in place, that empowers me. And knowing that I'm on the right path and I can be who I authentically am without any worry about judgment from the people I surround myself with. What inspires me, again, it's the conversations like that lights me up so much, meeting new people and hearing their stories and hearing their journeys and knowing that, again, I'm on the right path and that this work is so important and it needs to be done. And so knowing that I can make these connections and knowing that I have these conversations and these people who surround me, that's my inspiration.
So true. Well, you and I, after I literally talked to you for 20 minutes, was like so thankful you're in my world.
Me
Just
as well.
felt like I knew you for years and I love what you do.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you for all the women you've interviewed because without you, just it's nice to have people being supportive of us. Like
Hmm.
I think there's not enough men like you that really want to make a difference and want to listen and want to help and amplify. We don't have enough. And
You're
that's where
right. I agree. We need to more men need to step up. I think we need to come together, realize that the only way that we're going to have impact in this world and make a difference is that if we come together, both men and women standing shoulder to shoulder, side by side, and working together, because all the men in the world cannot do it alone, and all the women in the world can't do it alone, and nor should they have to. So when we can finally wrap our heads around that and come together and work together as human beings, don't worry about the labels. Don't masculine versus feminine, the patriarchy, all of this shit. Put it aside. Let's come together as human beings and raise and lift each other up and work together. That's how we're going to get shit done in this world.
and having empathy and compassion
For sure.
because, we've talked about that people have this is what I look like outside.
Hmm.
They don't realize what's happening behind.
Yeah,
And everyone's going through some struggle, and the more we have
absolutely.
each other to help and say, "Yeah, life's hard. This is what can I learn from someone else? Can someone else?" And
Hmm.
that's what you and I both bring the community. I think it is the only way.
It is. A friend of mine said to me yesterday, when you see someone who's acting like an asshole or who's being whatever or struggling, always remember that that is someone else's daughter or son. Someone loves them. So
Yeah,
if they're being an asshole, there's something else going on. So have
yeah,
compassion, have empathy. And I'm not saying sit around and put up with it, not at
yeah.
all, but remember that that is someone else's son or daughter.
And you have to remember that there's some people that just aren't nice.
Yes, very
There is
true. That's why I
I'm
say
like,
don't stick
"How?"
around and take shit from people, but keep that in your
Yeah,
mind.
there's always something you don't know behind, because I generally believe why be mean? It's
Yeah.
more energy. What did they say? You burn more calories with a smile or whatever, and it's like, yeah, that's like, be nice to people. You don't know what they're going through, and put your hand out when someone needs your help.
And you know what? It doesn't cost you anything to be nice. It's free. Just
And you know what? It makes me feel better. Like, everyone's like,
yes.
"Well, are you always like this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I
Well,
kinda."
it's just you could change the trajectory of someone's entire day just by saying hi, how are you, or
Yeah.
smiling at them. Something so simple that
I had
does
that
not
I
cost you a
had that
cent.
yesterday in the service industry where I walked in and the customer before was screaming at the 2 people at the
Hmm.
store, and I just was me, and I was about to leave, and they said, "Thank you.
Hmm.
All day long, we've been shit on." And
Yeah.
came in and we're like this era of and they said, "We see you all the time, and you're the one we always get excited about. You walk in." Like, it's a UPS store, but
Hmm.
I shifted, and they said, "You know what? I said, "You're gonna have a better afternoon." And I walked out, and they said, "We are, because you just walked in."
There
I
you
didn't do
go.
anything. I just was me being like, "What's up?" Like,
Just you
know?
being you. Just being
And
who you authentically are.
that's what if everyone can do that for each other and just
Hmm.
lift up that we each have dark days, we each have dark
Of course we
moments.
do.
But how do it's you and I talked, like, how is the resilience to rise up from that and then help others and just
Yeah.
not be an asshole. Like,
Yeah. Just don't be a dick.
dick. It can't that's the short clip I'm using with you. No, just kidding.
That's fine.
Brad, it's always such a pleasure. I can't wait to see you in person, partner with
Yes.
you,
Hmm.
and just really help you and your community because our communities really just are together.
Well, we're here to help each other and support each other. So thank you so much for the incredible work that you're doing and sharing women's stories. And Thank you for the opportunity to be here to share on her stories, to be part of your platform, your community, your collective, and just be here in your energy and your space. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, as it always is every time we talk. So thank you.
Thank you. And it's just, I can't wait for more chapters. I will put all the stuff, as I said many times, on the resource page. And thank you, Brad, for joining us. And stay tuned for another episode of Her Stories.